Hi guys, I'm Alexey Karpik, motion designer from Moscow, and in today's video I want to share with you some tips and tricks about using my divider plugin and especially how I create this video. I'm really glad to see how many people appreciate my plugin, and behind my back you can see videos that community done with it, and it's really important for me that I created the things that help others to make some nice motion. I decided to show this work on the full screen with credits, and you can see that divider was used not only for some bright Instagram posts, but it was used even with some commercial projects, and I think it's really nice that so many people find it useful. And I want to mention my inspirators. First of all is Pasha Ho. He created a project called Scalar. It's really nice, and he references this tutorial by Matt Taylor Motion. Matt tells how to achieve same recursion effect inside of Houdini, and basically it tells about the whole algorithm. We both started here, and some visual reference was Dimitrios Ladopoulos' project called Algorithm 01. He did something similar also inside of Houdini. And about tutorials, there is some nice tutorial by Perry Cooper 3D. He makes this tiny letter animation. Also Dave from CG Shortcut says how to create this animation with clone red divider. And if you want to go hard, you can achieve this animation even with objects. Some Korean guy attached it via Expressa, and I learned a lot from this tutorial how to use Expressa. And this guy also has easier tutorial about using effectors and fields with divider. He creates this little animation with Octane. I'll try to explain things as clean as possible, so if it will be too detailed for you, feel free to switch between chapters. I'll put all the timecodes in the description below. And let's go! First thing that I want to talk about is how divider applies its parameters one after another, because it's not like that straightforward. Let's create a plane with segments 1 and 1 and apply plugin divider to them. I hold Alt to make a divider the parent of selected object. And so what we see now, we have sliders, they're working, we have iterations, we have remappings here, some curves, and we have noise amount value here and noise loop progress. Let's animate loop progress to see more clear what's going on here and make it linear. Animation now is controlled by sliders and by noise, and we have noise amount that mixed basically the two values. Now it worked only by the noise. If we change slider, will nothing happen. And if we set noise amount to 0, we will control everything only by the sliders. So that's just mixing these two attributes, and remappings are applied after that. So on top of wherever were mixed, these curves will disturb that value. So about the topology. Topology means a lot. For example, we have these nice stripes that goes up and down just by turning height segments up. And the next thing about topology, we can actually deform it, distort it by hand, for example. Let's make the polygon editable, hit C, and go to the point mode and just start to drag it and see that it's immediately changing. We can create some nice shapes here if we add some more subdivisions. So there are almost endless forms to explore here. And also we can even extrude this polygon further, like so, and make some basic modeling operations. And so you can extrude a lot of stuff, but topology should be kinda clean. For example, if I will use a knife like so, it will be fine, but if I use it like try to cut the triangle here, like so, it immediately breaks everything. So just try to do it kinda right way that you feel it right. Also we get some nice floor here, by the way. And about shapes, somebody even asked me how to reach some specific shape, and here we go. We can even work with text. Let's set some bolting here on the middle, but it doesn't matter, and place it under extrude. It should be flat, And if we place a letter under the divider, first thing that it will tell us, please use object with less than 15 polygons, because we have a lot of subdivision right here going on inside of text tab. And let's go to the uniform and set for now to 0 this value, so we just don't have any interpolation inside our curve. And here let's set to quads this mode, and we get it basically. If we turn iterations a little bit down, we can even subdivide it a little bit more, and so we get our shape. Let's try to work with T-shape. It's kind of strange but fun, and so on. So about the other forms, just for note, it works with any object that's under 15 polygons. So we can do all that stuff with cube also. Just select the point, take a move tool and just drag it. So, and it just works. Now I will show you my demo. It's not like super typical for divider animation, because it has some flowy motion. At the middle this line is going down and up and again down, and it's like super flowy, not as flowy as my original divider plugin is. And how I achieved it? The thing is that first subdivision we can do ourselves with Cinemas 4D effectors, for example. Let's bring this width and height segments to 2, and now we have 4 polygons in our plane. That's nice, but they kinda locked and not moving, not doing anything. How we can resolve it? Effectors can affect polygon objects. Let's use plane for now. Always messing up with Alt and Shift keys. And to make some effect, let's under divider tab we should pick an points, and it's immediately did something. But it's kinda in strange space because I'm using a Y direction, and this thing is going through that direction. So let's change transform space from node to object. It will be more kinda recognizable and easy to tweak. For now, let's try to move this line. It contains three points. Now it's moving everything, and let's just apply a box field with 0 fall off to move only the middle thing. And yeah, it's perfectly moved. That's nice. But what about that animation? For animation, we can use time effector. Using it with time is super easy. Just under the layer tab in the shape, use a sign, and here we go. Everything except what we needed is using our sine function and fluctuating like so. Let's increase rate, and let's just multiply that box field. Let's see what we've got on the divider. Pretty much all that we need, and this is basic principles that we will use to achieve this animation effect. I'm talking only about how the subdivision are moving. About cloth thing we will talk later. And one more thing, when you've done everything with your effectors and you like its animation, everything's fine, but I faced one problem. And not every time this animation render properly. Sometimes it just don't update that all changed that our effectors did on points. I can't recreate right now this problem, but it can be, and I have nice solution. It's still kinda parametric. You can add the correction deformer after everything in your stack and add a point cache tag from character tag. Correction mode just returns our mesh from its plane. We can't see it kinda right now. Yeah, we can see it here. And it's supposed to use like, we can deform it or something like that, but we will not deform it. We will just use this tag to bake this whole mesh animation. And we need to click store state on basically every frame and then click calculate. it will run through all that frames, and now we even can turn off all that previous effectors, and our animation will still work because it will be stored in this tag in correction. If we turn out the correction, plane will be not moving. If we turn it on, everything is nice and fully baked. That's how you can work around with, for example, multiple jiggle deformers or something like this. Small quick tip: I want to show how to create this kind of animation because it's super easy and super fun, I think. Let's start from divider. So we have this animation. First of all, let's create borders. One of the ways to do it is to create a cloner with cubes and clone it on the edges of our divider. Let's choose object in mode, use divider as an object, in distribution set edges, reduce size of the cube. We have cubes on edges, and now we need to enable scale on edge parameter, and we got our edges. We have some small stuff on the corners, so we can also create a vertex distribution with another cloner, so it's fixable. Let's create a cloner with spheres. Make a grid of it, grid array, something like this. Add a dynamic text to it, rigid body. Apply tag to children. We can set all, but wherever. Now we have animated balls. It should collide with our borders and with the divider itself, and we're just placing collider tag on edge cloner and on divider, and yeah, that's basically it. Also, I got a question about different block extrusions, like how to extrude some specific block or something like this, and I will show you general workflow. Every time use a fracture to break segments on different objects, because if I use current state object on the divider, we will get only mesh. It will be only one like single mesh, but if I used fracture with explode segments mode, and we will do the same, we will get multiple objects. Right now it's multiple kind of boxes. And this is the case because Cinema 4D can't, for example, paint different polygons in different colors, but it can paint different objects here in display color parameter and change its PSR and all the stuff. So that's why we need to use fracture here. Let's add for example, plane effector. We can use different effectors, but plane it's totally fine. Somehow we need to extrude these blocks, and first options, it's super easy to use a random field. That's basically it. We can animate seeds. It will blend between these different values. It's nice, but it's not super controllable. And the next thing that we can do is use formal field. It also gets some nice animation just at the beginning. If we need to use some specific blocks, we can type in equation like id equals, for example, 3. It's id of our block that will be selected. And we can do multiple. We should take every of statements in brackets and use or between them. It's like if id equals 3 or if id equals 6, brackets close, and so on. We can create a lot of them. Id equals 43, but you can see it's not super convenient to use, and I found very nice effector on side of this guy. His name R2 ratio, and he creates a lot of Cinema 4D stuff like generators, effectors, and it's super nice. So I found selector field. He wrote it by itself, and we can use it. Let's place it on the plane, and let's see what setting it has. It's not color everything by default, but we can, for example, use here custom color in the factor. And in this field, we can type in multiple indexes of objects that we need to extrude like this. And there are a lot of controls, like we can use an offset to quickly get the cube that we want, or we can even use grossing. I think it can be nice animated. That's basically it. That's how I created my demo. And the next thing that I'm gonna talk about is this nice figure. I like it because it's super easy to set up, like 1 minute or so. Here we go, we have a divider thing. Let's place more extrude after that, and set scale to 1, and increase significantly extrusion step. Now we can use a twist. We can add a bevel. I think it's better this way, but you can do it differently. You can check this angle if you don't need multiple bevels edges here. I don't think we need it. And yes, that's basically it. And finally, how to create clothy look from this demo. It's fairly easy. We can use surface deformer. Let's group our divider firstly, then use surface deformer in same group. And what surface deformer can do, it can wrap our object onto a UV of another object. Let me show you on the torus. In surface deformer, let's pick our torus as a surface. Hit initialize and our plugin broke, but if we choose type UV mapping UV or VU, it not that matter. We can see that we actually mapped our divider plugin onto other object, onto tube in this time, and it works perfectly. We can subdivide it even more, I suppose. And also we can add the closed surface to kind of smooth everything out. And the same principle we can use to project our divider onto closed surface. Let's hide our divider, add the new plane, name it cloth, and set orientation to -z, hit C to make it editable, and add cloth tag under simulation tags, simulation cloth. And let's firstly select first row of points, and on the tracer tab hit on fixed point set. Now we have that points fixed, so when we add the gravity on the forces tab, like -4 for example, our cloth will not fall, will fall down, only that points that not fixed. Let's add the wind, strength for 2, direction X to 1, direction Z to -0.5, and yeah, we're starting to get somewhere. Let's add the turbulence strength, and maybe to decrease the jiggling, add some sampling to 8 for example, and now decrease drag to 2%. And when we satisfy it, just add some nice position and hit init state in that moment. So we will start from this state, and now we have a nice close animation. And choose our cloth as a surface and use UV mapping. Set scale to 1 on both direction, and let's hide the cloth, and we have that effect. What can we do now is, for example, we can, if it for you it's kinda too blocky, you can add a cloth surface, and everything will be smoothed out, but still we can keep and use that pieces. And we can use a thickness here to create more kind of rigid look. To paint all the pieces in different colors or assign different materials, we can still place it the whole construction now under the fracture and use mode explode segments and add a random effector and uncheck position and set color mode to effector, and that's basically it. It will work with subdivisions also, for example, like so. I hope you enjoyed these techniques, and I hope you will get some fun from doing some nice animations with these tricks. I hope you like this video. Next time I will tell you how to achieve thin film effect inside of Redshift. This is effect that appears on oil slick or on bubbles or gasoline stuff. And if you like this video, hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Stay